Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you all about my new wildlife pond, which is going to form the centerpiece of this whole corner of my garden, which I've dedicated to wildlife. Now, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I've already created a wildflower meadow across this whole mound of earth across the back here, and I've created some stepping stones, and these stepping stones are raised up so that wildlife can hide underneath. And from here in the corner I have a raised elevated position and vantage point looking down over the wildlife corner, but also over the open fields below. So eventually I do intend building some kind of raised sun deck here. Over there to my left, your right, I've already constructed a wildlife log pile and a wildlife hibernaculum at the back. Here I have two buddleias perfectly placed because they are known as the butterfly bush, and in between those I'm collecting a pile of sticks. I'll tell you what this big box is for in a moment. It will become very clear. So as I say, this whole corner of my garden is going to be dedicated to wildlife. I've already mown a section of the lawn here just to give you an idea of how large I would quite like my wildlife pond to be. And as I march across it, I'm getting up to about 7 meters in diameter. And I've brought my spade with me because by the end of this video I'm going to make a ceremonial dig. The first piece of earth will be taken out of the ground to start forming the wildlife pond. Now let me show you what this box is all about. This video on the wildlife pond is going to be the first in a series of videos. The first 3 being design and planning, digging and construction, and planting and plant choices. And then of course, over the months and years ahead, I'll give you updates, seasonal updates on how the pond is progressing. Now, as we speak, I'm still on video 1, which is the design and planning video, but if you've come to this video a little bit later, I may have already dug and constructed the pond and planted it out, so I shall put the links to those second and third videos above this one. And in this, the first of the series, the design video, we're going to consider several aspects, ranging from local constricts and restrictions, features, location considerations, budget and scale, what wildlife we might expect, and any extra features such as bogs or bridges. You may remember that I talked about local constricts and restrictions, and what I meant by that were wires, pipes and cables, especially if you're building a pond near your house, because your house will have electric and it will have drains, and you need to be very careful because you don't want to be going at those with a mini digger or a pickaxe. Exercise caution and proceed with care. So, as far as the location is concerned, imagine that is my garden, and this is the corner of my garden. And I've already spoken about the wildflower meadow, the log pile, the hibernaculum, and the twigs with buddleias on either side. Also, in terms of location, I've located it in the remote corner of the garden, quite distant from the house. It's also distant from the lane, because this lane is where people and dogs and cars come past quite regularly. So over here in the far corner is the area of least traffic. And if you're designing a wildlife area in your garden, to a certain extent you've got to think like wildlife, and I'm pretty sure that wildlife would want to be as remote as possible from human civilization. So there's the message: think like wildlife. I'm lucky by the fact that I've got mature hedges all the way along this side of my border and all the way along this side of my border, and that's great because that provides shelter and food. It also provides an opportunity for nesting birds to make nests. And beyond my border there is a farmer's field, and just beyond that there is a canal, so already I'm exposed to lots of wildlife habitats. I'm going to make my actual pond as big as I can possibly afford, And this is where we talk about budget. It doesn't have to be huge. Any element of water in a garden will encourage wildlife. And so anything that I'm doing here can be done in a miniature scale. But I'm very lucky because my YouTube channel is monetized, so I do get paid for videos. So hopefully this video might make £100 over the next 12 months, and I will be able to put that towards the budget in making my wildlife pond. And I'd like this to be approximately 6 meters in diameter. And we'll have a look at the wildlife pond design in a bit more detail when we look at a cross section. But for now, let's just have a look as an aerial view. Now, along this border here, there are some massive boulders, and I'm going to reuse those around the outside of 2/3 of the main pond. The remaining 1/3 here is going to be a beach. And I've been very lucky because a great neighbour has donated some boulders, and those boulders are going to be used on that beach to hide the pond liner, because one thing I insist on with this pond is I don't see any pond liner. So I'm giving thought in advance as to how I can hide and conceal the pond liner in my pond. So already we've got lots of little individual wildlife elements which are combining to make a whole, and that whole is going to be a wonderful ecosystem for lots of different levels of the food chain in my wildlife garden. Now let's have a look in a bit more detail at the pond itself by looking at a cross section. As I've already mentioned, my pond is going to be of a circular design with boulders around 2/3 of the circumference and a sloping beach. That sloping beach is going to be covered in beach boulders, and that's deliberate because, again, thinking like wildlife, what if a rabbit or a mole or a hedgehog fell in there? How would it escape? It needs a gradual sloping exit, and that's what this beach area will provide. So my pond will have 3 different depths. It'll have a 1 foot depth, a 2 foot depth, and a 3 foot depth. And these depths will be replicated all the way around the pond, apart from where the beach is on this side. And that will be a gradual slope going into the pond. Now, those boulders which I mentioned are going to be rested here on the edge of the marginal shelf. So half of that marginal shelf will be covered with boulders, but that will still leave me a 1 foot depth area here to plant baskets with marginal plants in. And the reason I'm going for 3 different depths is because different types of wildlife and different types of plant require different conditions. Some reeds will want 2 foot of depth, some water lilies will want 3 feet of depth, and some marginal plants will want 1 foot of depth. And of course, out here in the bog garden on either side, there will be just marginal plants that don't want any water whatsoever. So now you can start to build a picture of what my pond is going to look like in cross section. Simply, it's going to be a circle with 3 depths. Now, in terms of hiding the pond liner, naturally the pond liner will be inside, lining the hole like this, and I don't want to see any of it. The boulders will cover this and this, but I will have to bury this. I'll probably bring the turf up, put it underneath the turf, and then lay the turf back on top so that I don't see any of the pond liner. I'll backfill these boulders with soil, and that will give me the ability to plant some marginal plants like flag irises, etc. And the water will fill up to this level. So that gives you an overview of the thoughts and ideas that I put into my wildlife pond design. A couple of other things. I'm going to have a path all around the perimeter of my wildlife pond. It's going to be wide enough for me to get my ride-on mower around to make it easy for me to mow the grass. But I will be leaving some long grass around the periphery for the wildlife. But because there will be a mowed section around the perimeter, I'm also going to dig in some subterranean tunnels from the wildlife elements at the back here towards the water's edge so that the wildlife can get safely through. I'm not going to put any fish in my wildlife pond because fish are not conducive to wildlife, because if you get newt spawn or frog spawn or toad spawn, they tend to eat it. So there might be a fish pond in another area of my garden, but there will be no fish in this, my wildlife pond. One of you has suggested that I have water running down some rocks into the pond, and I might be able to do that, although there isn't any electricity in this corner of the garden. I could be able to use some kind of solar pump to pump some water over a pile of rocks on this side. Or alternatively, when I do eventually build my deck area in this corner, I could have some kind of fountain. I could bring electric round and I could have some kind of fountain pouring water into the pond. So there we go, an overview of the design thoughts and ideas I've put into my wildlife pond so far. The next thing, of course, will be digging a hole, and I'm about to start digging. You'll see that at the end of this video. I hope you found it useful and informative, and if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to my channel and also comment in the comments box below this video, because it's always nice to hear from you. And as you see me dig the first sod of earth for my wildlife pond, I'll just say, hopefully, I'll see you soon.